Hey, BTP fans, Mike and Robbie here. We've got some great looking Harlequins.
These guys are awesome. I always love Harlequins. There's so many bright colors and different patterns, and they always look really cool. These guys look extra cool.
Yeah, they're on nice decorative bases, and one of the things that I do like about them is there's a good amount of freehand on it. Freehand is, with these tight patterns, is something that really makes the miniatures stand out. It's different from most of the other miniatures that are in the Games Workshop range. I don't know anybody else who has this much freehand on them and these tight patterns. They look really nice. Lots of contrasting colors in here too. We'll flip some of these guys around so you can see the backs of them. The backs are just as detailed as the fronts. It's almost hard to look at, there's so much going on, which is kind of the point of these miniatures.
Yeah, in the middle here is the Great Harlequin, or the Troop Leader. And he's got a really cool, his head little fin thing's pretty cool, lots of different colors in there. But his back cloak is just awesome. It's got this diamond pattern with the different kind of a rainbow effect to it.
Almost looks like stained glass.
Yeah.
This guy I like with the blues and the purples. You can see the side of his mask has some sharp angles to it. And then more of that pattern behind him. This guy on the end. Lots of contrasting colors. I like the green and yellow on the pants. Looks really nice. Moving over to the other side.
This is the Shadow Seer.
This one has a ton of, what's that pattern called? Like a checker pattern?
Yeah.
On the pants and on the sleeves.
Some nice gem work there on the backpack.
Yeah.
Here's another nice example of that checker pattern.
Turn it to the
Really
side.
nice.
These masks are done really well too. That's something I didn't notice the first time I was looking at these. But their masks all have individual patterns on them. And then this guy's cool too. He's got like a star pattern on him.
He's got some nice blending though. From the bottom of his leg is all black and it kind of goes up to a deep blue all the way up to like a bright blue.
Yeah.
Looks really nice.
So, in just a minute, we are going to show you an example of how to paint something like these checker patterns. These are pretty intricate. A lot of them are really small. The one that we're going to show you is just a quick example of it. It's not going to be this intricate, but it'll give you an idea of how you can do the same type of thing. Please try this at home. Now, here's a Bretonian, and here's a Bretonian. They have the same headpiece, so I'm using him as the same guy in my army. What we're going to do is I'm going to show you how to paint the checker pattern on this guy's shield. So it's already on his shield. We're going to duplicate that as best we can on this. I've already painted this using like a light blue, and I think it's actually flat blue on the top, and then yellow. And the colors that I'm going to use for that are both Vallejo. I'm using German Camo Black Brown and Cold Gray. One of the things that I think it's important to understand is, let me move these guys so you can see the brushes. These are the brushes. I'm using these two, but this is Citadel's fine detail brush. What we're concerned with is not the size of the brush, we're concerned with the tip and the quality of the tip. When you look at the tips of all three of these brushes, they are about the same at the very end. And that's the part that is actually going to touch the miniature, and that's going to drag the paint off onto the figure. So we're concerned with the tips. This is a number 9 and this is a number 7. So there's nothing wrong with the Citadel detail brushes. I just like these better. They're easier to hold, they're easier to see, and they usually keep their tips a lot better. So back to the miniature. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to use this German black, German camo black brown is what it actually is. I don't like to use, this is just a personal preference, I don't like to use true blacks or true whites for very much. As much as I can, I try to use just one color off. And for this particular pattern, I'm going to start drawing lines. So I'm going to build a grid. 1, 2, 3, and then ever so small in the corner there, 4. Then I'm going to build my grid going in the opposite direction. And usually I like to start on a corner and take it across. I'm going to start on this corner and at a perpendicular angle I'm going to take it across the whole way. So one more in the corner there, get a little bit more paint, and we'll go right about there, and then one at the very top. So I've got my grid. Then having a paint issue, it's a little bit goopy. Probably could have mixed that a little better. Then I'm going to pick this guy and I'm going to fill it in with the black, or slightly off black as it were. Then I'm just going to go through and fill in the rest of these squares so that the patterns match up, and I'm just going to alternate these. And I'll go through in just a minute and make sure that all of my lines are clean and that everything looks really nice. Right now, just trying to block out these patterns a little bit more. Okay, then I would just repeat the same thing on the bottom. There's a weird glare in here and I was having a hard time seeing this. So if you make a mistake, don't worry about it. I just took the same base color that I used, flat blue, and looks a little bit different. It's just wet, it'll dry the same color. But I took out some flat blue and I went back in and cleaned up the lines and the spots where I had messed up just a little bit. So that's something that you can do. Just go back in and take care of any problem areas that you might encounter. I'm going to put a very light highlight on the edge of the black. All I'm going to do is just on the top side put a little line just so that there's a little bit of difference, a little bit more contrast between the blue and the black. And that's going to be my highlight on all of these black squares. Whoops. Same thing on here. If you make a mistake, you can always go back and fix it. You just got to take your colors, your base coats, and just go back and clean it up a little bit. Not a big deal. like that one's a little bit thick. I'll probably go back and clean that one up. And essentially that's how you do it.